Well, I'm most known probably for Common Grounds, which is a series that Top Cow uh, published some years back. It was up for a couple of Eisner Awards, so it's relatively well known. It was fairly critically acclaimed. I've also done a series Twilight Guardian, which is out there as well. I've done various other things: Witchblade, City of Heroes, Turok. Um, I've worked a little bit with the Hero Initiative, which is a charity for people working in the comic field. Well, the reason that I really started doing comics on my own is simply because I've been a lifelong comic reader, and I really wasn't seeing the kind of comics out there that I used to really enjoy. Comics started getting grittier, which in some cases can be fine, but unfortunately there was this sort of overall movement into sort of a darker realm of comics, which wasn't really what I wanted to read. I'm sure there are a lot of good things coming out now. I don't read a lot of comics these days simply because the characters that I was interested in have been redone so often and the continuity has been changed so often that it's really hard to follow. In the mid-1980s that there was too much history and the like, and there were alternate Earths and all these things that it was too hard to understand, so they would simplify it. And of course, it's gone exactly the opposite way. Every 6 months to a year, they kind of reboot everything. So I do miss those kind of comics, and I miss comics that can simply be a little bit more lighthearted, because everything seems to be so serious these days. I mean, ostensibly there should be a greater number of people reading comics now, simply because there's such a larger kind of mass population interested in them. But in fact, comic sales have gone down tremendously, although things like, all of the movies and the like that are comic book based now do help somewhat, although that's kind of become like a farm league for comic book characters. Whereas they may not sell very well in the comics themselves, then they end up making movies and there's huge merchandising and that sort of thing.